Lemonis. His team won 2 out of 3 against Arizona State over the weekend, lost game 1, and then bounced back in a big way on Saturday and Sunday. And, Coach, we were talking just a second ago. I know you never miss an opportunity to kind of mention what the fans at Mississippi State mean and how special they are. I just referenced a second ago. I was leaving Dudy Noble. Was leaving the hump after the basketball game as the national anthem was going on. And the stream of people that were coming into the stadium, it was unlike anything I had ever seen before. Then you go on to have over 14,000. It's just incredible the way Mississippi State fans support baseball.
Yeah, well, it was not only was it 14,000 fans, they were on edge because Chris Jans got them so fired up with that basketball game. I mean, it's to win a huge game like that and bring that energy into our ballpark was – I mean, I haven't been in there many nights that felt like that. SEC regionals, super regionals. I mean, it was crazy. And it was great for us because we had a lot of recruits in the house. Kids were there watching. It's on national. You're seeing it on TV. Our fans are unbelievable. They love it, and especially. I mean, we didn't play good the night before. Kind of had a little bit of a tough week, and for them just to still have our back and be behind us is huge.
Well, and that's where I wanted to go next. I mean, calling a game 7 or 8 games into the season a must-win is just dumb, right? I mean, that would not make any sense. But it felt like Saturday was really, really important given the way you had played on Friday.
Well, when you coach here, every game feels like a must-win. So it's
fair.
just the expectations here, and our fans just they want to win so bad. But, we knew we'd have some learning curve, a little more than I thought this first week. But we really responded on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, the Saturday starter for Arizona State, that guy's got a chance, in next year's draft, be a first 50 pick. I mean, that guy was really, really good, and our kids competed and fought with him. I thought Graham Eitma had a great night on the mound, and Evan Thierry, well, he pieced that game together for us in a big way.
Coach, I thought what you had to be the most pleased with over the weekend was you lose the game on Friday. It's not a great performance. You bounce back on Saturday, Sunday with maybe your 2 best games of the season from a hitting, pitching, and defensive perspective. You played error-free baseball. I think strikeout to walk was like 22-5. I talked to you yesterday about the way you hit with runners in scoring position. It just felt like it was a complete performance from your guys Saturday and Sunday.
It really was. I mean, those were by far our best 2 games. And just, the pitching stuff early, we're trying to find the right guys. I'm not happy with, but I get the stuff that blew me away the first week was the defense. Like, we're a really good defensive team. We've always been a really good defensive team. And just some guys who make every play had a couple hiccups in that first week. And then, the offense, like you said, timely hitting is, people act like RBIs aren't a big stat. I feel like they are, so, a guy gets up there and sees guys out there and drives them in. Timely hits can make up for a lot of things.
Pretty good weekend at the plate for Colton Ledbetter.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He just does a lot of things. It's not just the homers. It's the poor guy. He flies. He steals bases. He doesn't strike out. Puts pressure on people. You're going to see him get a lot of infield hits over the year because he's down the line at 4-0, 4-1, and plays really, really hard. I'm super impressed with his defense. He makes the play on Saturday night. And almost robs a homer there in the 8th yesterday, so really good week for Colton.
Chris, talk to me a little bit about catcher and first base and kind of as you look at those 2 positions, Luke Hancock, Ross Heifel, Hunter Hines, kind of, people have watched the games and they're going to make their own assessments, but as you look at those 2 spots with that combination of guys, what's your thought process right now?
Well, we're splitting some time between our 2 catchers, so one guy didn't get too tired. Trying to get Hunter Hines into the mix, DH last year, and Luke played there. So we have a rotation going on, between those guys. I mean, Ross is a little bit better. He's a better thrower than Luke, but Luke, commands the game, the pitching staff, the blocked balls, those type of things that he's in a good spot with. And then Luke's played a lot of first base and getting Hunter out there and getting him comfortable. I thought Hunter's played well the last couple of days, there. And then we have some, it's really locking up a lot of stuff because I have a couple, we've had David Mershon out for a couple of weeks with a hamstring. He's starting to get healthy. He's a guy that has a chance to get on the field. You have Connor Isaacs come off the bench and gave us some really big swings. Like, I have some good players that I'm having to try to figure out some rotations with.
Coach, this is the second weekend in a row where a player who didn't get a lot of preseason buzz had a great weekend. And last weekend was Bryce Chance. This weekend I thought it was Graham Eintema, a guy that, when we talked about Mississippi State pitching, his name wasn't at the forefront of anything, but he came out on Saturday and really gave you a start that not only was a good start for your team, but a start your team really needed to see happen.
Yeah. Y'all may not know his name, but our hitters knew it. They faced him. He did not give up a run in the fall. And I think he gave up one in spring training, and our kids it's not bad stuff by no means, but it's not, him and Gartman aren't overpowering. They're not throwing 95, 98. They just really know how to pitch, and it's very deceptive. It's hard to hit, and this day and age, they'd rather face 94, 95 with no breaking ball, than somebody who's going to pull it back and flip it over and have some deception to their fastball. And that's what both those guys have. But, yeah, Graham was a guy not a lot of people knew about, but our hitters did. And we were just trying to keep him in the pen because we wanted that really good left-handed option in the pen. But, the way things worked out the first week, he's jumped in there and gave us a great start.
Big game tomorrow night down here in or not down here. I'm in Starkville. What am I doing? But down there in Pearl with Southern Miss. What's the pitching plan for you guys?
We're throwing Bradley Lofton, our freshman. Pitched a really good game last week, and got good stuff. Got to get out there and get used to it. It'll be a big atmosphere for him. But he's pitched there a bunch in his career and familiar with it. He just got to be able to go out there and pound the strike zone. But we have a lot of confidence in him.
I'm sure there's a one game at a time approach, but if you peek ahead to this weekend in Frisco, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, you get three brands that you're playing. Not necessarily the biggest baseball brands, but Ohio State, Oklahoma, Cal. I mean, that's three big brands. What do you expect from this coming weekend?
Well, for us, we want to get on the road. We have to be able to experience the road before the SEC play, so that's a big piece of it. And I like tournaments, in Texas because we recruit there a lot. Ohio State, probably goof that one up because I think their left-hander on Friday night may have the best numbers in the country right now. So we're going to face a really good arm from those guys. They got a new coach, so we don't know a lot about them. Oklahoma lost in the national championship game last year, so there's some recognition, and they're coming to our league, right? And Cal, I don't know too much about them, but they probably have played better than everybody there to this point. They've had a really good start to the season. So programs that play the game well, they're coached well, and it'll be interesting. We got to get out there and keep playing good baseball.
Chris, last thing for you. I'm curious, once the season starts, do you kind of peek at box scores from everybody else in the league, kind of keep an idea of what's going on? Is there anything that's happened in the SEC so far that stands out to you?
No, actually, I know this sounds crazy, but when you lose on Friday night, you don't touch your phone, right? You can't even, it feels like it's vibration through social medias and everything. So I don't go on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. I'll look at box scores though. We get an email every night with the league scores, and I'll look at certain guys and certain players. And, we have some really good teams in our league right now. I can tell you that, but it's nothing crazy from that side.
Busy week coming up. We wish you the best. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, guys. Hail State.
Chris Lemonis.